KTOO. Welcome to Juneau Afternoon, broadcasting live from the homelands of the Aquan and on demand as a podcast. It's Friday, July 24th, 2026. I'm your host, Boston Christopher. Cheesh, Hawa, Toksgnusum, Salama. Thank you for joining the conversation. You may also join us on our live stream on KTOO's YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram pages. Today, fans of the mockumentary style of films like those of Christopher Guest, Waiting for Guffman, or Best in Show, will want to be at the Gold Town on August 4th for Canoe Dig It, a mockumentary film about freestyle canoeing. We talk with filmmaker Samuel Dunning about this nice film for nice people. Sarah Aronson, born and raised here in Juneau, is a climate-aware psychotherapist. Sarah has recently returned to Juneau and chats with us about resources to work through climate issues here in Southeast, including the annual Glacier Lake outburst flooding in Mendenhall Valley. And Lauren Varelli is here from CBJ Parks and Rec for some month of play details and other events happening around Juneau. Those conversations are coming up this hour on Juneau Afternoon. Programming note, Juneau Afternoon will be on summer hiatus after this show today through August 14th. Our live shows will resume on Wednesday, August 19th. We are grateful for your continued support and look forward to sharing more stories, people, and events with you upon our return. If you email us at juneauafternoon@kto.org about being on the show or any other business, those emails will begin to be responded to on August 10th. This is Juneau Afternoon on KTOO. Support for Juneau Afternoon comes from Emil Mackey at Country Financial, offering insurance for home, auto, and business, and life insurance to protect your family in case of death. Located in the Juneau Nugget Mall. More information can be found online or by calling 907-500-7017. Support for Juneau Afternoon comes from Heritage Coffee Roasting Company, providing Juneau with locally roasted coffee for over 40 years, with cafes and drive-through locations throughout Juneau. More at heritagecoffee.com.
You're listening to KTOO's Tlingit Word of the Week. This week's word comes from the late Kahwan-ish George Davis. The word this week is seek.
Seek.
That means black bear. And let's hear a sentence.
Seek.
The black bear had cubs. Let's hear it again.
Seek.
Black bear. Ganesh Jish to Juneau Lance Twitchell, Goldbelt Heritage Foundation, and the University of Alaska Southeast for this audio.
Kahwan-ish George Davis was Dakdain Tan and the child of a Tsagwedi man. He grew up in Kake, Alaska, and learned to speak well because he would always bring traditional foods to the elders there. As someone who fished a lot and spent time on the land, he knew Tlingit place names all over the area, and he learned many stories and advanced ways of speaking.
Tune in next week for another Tlingit Word of the Week from KTOO.
You are listening to community-supported Juneau Afternoon on KTOO 104.3 Juneau, 91.7 Juneau Auk Bay, and online at kto.org. I am Boston Christopher. You can also join us on our live stream on KTO's YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram pages. Samuel Dunning is an actor you may recognize from his appearances in TV shows like For All Mankind, FBI, The Gilded Age, or as the lead in the film Tim Travers and the Time Traveler's Paradox with Felicia Day, Keith David, and Danny Trejo. Samuel is also a filmmaker and has written and directed his own starring vehicle. It's in the mockumentary style of This Is Spinal Tap or any of those Christopher Guest films. Samuel's film is Canoe Dig It, and it is billed as a nice film for nice people about freestyle canoeing. Let's take a listen and a look at the trailer for this film.
Oh, yeah. So this is a Galt original Lotus. Stories these holes could tell.
Well, it's called freestyle canoeing, and was previously known as sport canoeing.
Let me tell you about Bath, Maine.
I am what some people would call the wunderkind of the freestyling world. If you're not going to try and beat the best, you might as well pack it up and become a kayaker.
I was practically born in a canoe to begin with. For me, it's more about a man and his craft coming together, and I think of myself as an artist.
Yeah,
Good time right there.
Bath, Maine is a fine community.
Whoa, obstacle course!
I'm Pete Nebraska.
I'm Carol Nebraska. He gets goofy.
Take that off. I like it. I like it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The devil-may-care attitude really spices up the competition, I think.
I'm probably one of the oldest competitors out there.
This year's an important one for me, though, because I'm going for the big 1-1.
You think anyone's got a chance against him this year?
Sore losers who are tired of getting their butts handed to them, you know?
Kind of separate the paddlers from the piddlers.
Sometimes you gotta rock the boat a little, you know what I'm saying?
Come on, Kevin. Here we go.
Boom, yeah.
It's the city of ships because of all the sailing ships.
Chickadee deed. Look out, Bob Marley.
Other good spots too. Oh yeah, Maine.
Anybody going to give you a run for your money this year, do you think?
No.
That is Canoe Dig It from Samuel Dunning, and Samuel joins us now from New York City. Hi, Sam. How are you today? Good. Cheese.
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, I love it. You're representing with the shirt, everything. You got the merch.
Got
and
it
the
all.
hat.
I'm gonna try and pack some with me to bring to the screenings. We'll see how much I can get in my bag.
I love that. Now you're bringing this film to Alaska, and have you ever been to Alaska before?
No, this will be my first time, and it seemed like the best possible excuse to come.
Absolutely. That's so cool. So I described the film a little bit, but can you tell us a little bit about the film and where the inspiration for this came from?
Sure. Yeah. I didn't know anything about freestyle canoeing. Didn't even know it existed until basically right before I started writing this. I'm from Maine originally, and I went home for what was supposed to be a long weekend in March of 2020. So that turned out to be a very long weekend, and I stayed with my mom for 7 whole months, and I had a lot of time on my hands. So a friend of mine actually sent me a like viral YouTube video of this gentleman named Mark Ornstein, who is also in my film, and he's sort of a figurehead of the freestyle canoeing community. And it was a video of him performing a freestyle canoeing set to Krista Berg's Lady in Red. And I I encourage everybody to go out and look at this video. If you needed an actual real pitch for the movie, that's the pitch. You just watch that, and if it doesn't inspire you to come see this, then it's not for you. But I saw that video, and I was just like, this is unbelievable. I can't believe this exists, because it's equal parts kind of wholesome and beautiful, but also kind of inherently silly, and they're just, I don't know. It's all so many different things wrapped into one, and I was immediately infatuated with it. And a week later, started writing a script, very akin to, like you said, like Christopher Guest Best in Show sort of a thing. And I had no intention of making it. I was just writing it to really just to make myself laugh. And ultimately, I sent it to a friend of mine who's a producer, and she read it and she said, "Oh, we have to figure out how to make this." And that's how the ball started rolling on that.
Wow!
But yeah. Go ahead.
What is freestyle canoeing? I didn't even know this was a real thing.
Yeah, a lot of people have asked me in Q&As and whatnot, like, "Oh, did you just make this up?" I'm like, no. This is a very real thing. The community that does it is quite small and pretty insular, but it's best described as like figure skating, but in a canoe to music. So it's almost like an interpretive dance, but you're in a canoe with a paddle, paddling the canoe kind of in time with whatever music you've chosen. And so that it just, I don't know, it kind of writes itself at the end of the day when it comes to like imagining the type of people that would be, you know, in this kind of community and trying to, you know, compete for a medal or what have you.
And do they have to do it within like like I'm imagining like there's, synchronized swimming has a pool and like gymnastics has a pad. Like, is there a certain area that they need to stay within, but they do some funky moves or what? Is that what they're doing?
So it's a good question. I don't know if there's limitations on where you can go, but they do ideally want flat water. So as flat as you possibly can. So they tend to have their symposiums and do these sort of competitions. They don't do the competitions anymore. When they did them, they would tended to do it on like a small pond or just areas that had little to no chop, so that they could have absolute perfect control of the boat and their balance within it.
That is amazing. That is really I love that.
Wild.
And I know that Alaska, obviously people canoe in Alaska, and so what was the impetus to sort of bring the film here? Because I know you're not just going to Juneau, you're going to Anchorage as well.
Yes, we're going to Anchorage as well. We're also going to Homer. Actually, our first screening will be on the 29th in Homer, and then going to do some touristy stuff, and then our next screening will be the 3rd of August in Anchorage, and then flying down to you guys for the screening on the 4th.
Cool.
And really what brought it out your way was actually a family friend of my mom's daughter runs the theater in Homer, the Porcupine Theater. And she reached out and said, oh, we have a paddling community that would absolutely love this kind of thing, and if it's as I think she saw the trailer and she said if it's as silly as this looks, then we've got an audience for this. And so I immediately was like, well, that sounds great. Is there anybody else that might want to play it? Because then the more screenings I have, the easier it is to justify flying out and all of that. And so thankfully she was kind enough to put me in contact with the with Beartooth Theater Pub up in Anchorage, and then put me in contact with the folks at Gold Town down in Juneau.
Yeah, Costa down here at the Gold Town. Always looking for some fun films to put into the Gold Town. It's our little indie cinema down here in Juneau. That's so cool. And so you mentioned that you were like writing this during, that wonderful time in 2020 when we were all sort of locked away. And was this the first thing you had written?
No, I've written stuff before, but this was the first feature film that I have made myself.
Okay.
Prior to this, I had made a short horror comedy called Rick and Ruby, which it's on YouTube. You're welcome to watch it. It's a fun, nasty little 15-minute horror comedy that I am also in, and so I kind of cut my teeth with that. And I thought I was going to do another short, honestly, because I was like, well, feature is probably a bit above me. I don't know if I'll be able to pull that off. And, it just kind of, these things just kind of fall into your lap sometimes. And the fact that it was a mockumentary meant that, it already is, we don't need these big lighting packages. We don't need super fancy cameras. Like it would be kind of antithetical to what we're trying to do. Like the aesthetic of a mockumentary is supposed to look like, it's a scrappy documentary crew. So I think that was another big reason that this ended up being my first feature. It's just that it seemed like the easiest on paper to get made. And
I love that. That's really cool. And I know there's been some stuff that I've seen recently. There's been a few actors who have, come out and talked about, what it is to sort of be a middle class actor. And like, the business as it is, as to be an actor right now. And you've done a lot of guest star roles. You've done a lot of different things in various different capacities. And is creating your own work a sort of a way to like alleviate some of that pressure or that problem of like, the amount of work that isn't or is available to you as an actor?
You said it perfectly. So I went to film school originally and then found my way into acting after the fact. And after a number of years of acting, I realized like, oh, I'm not getting the roles that I want. And then I had an epiphany of like, oh, wait, I could make my own role if I wanted to. And that's how I ended up making Rick and Ruby. And then when it came to making this, I had a very close friend of mine made her first horror feature. and I worked very closely with her on that and kind of co-directed it with her. And that gave me the confidence to be like, oh, if this is all it is, like I could pull this off. Like it's not to say it's like not a lot of work. It is, but it just immediately was like, oh, this is something that I could wrap my brain around. And I also learned from making that first horror comedy that as soon as you make something, this industry, I'll put it bluntly, it kind of sucks a lot of the time. It's just tough because it's like, especially as an actor, your entire career is waiting for someone else to tell you you're good enough to do this. And more often than not, it's not actually has nothing to do with your skill. It's actually like, do you look enough like what they think the character they're going to cast you as is? And that's something that's completely out of your control, which is extra frustrating. So it feels like you have no power in this scenario. And so after making my short, I realized that that was the first time I felt like I have some control over, my trajectory in this business. And after making that, I told just every actor friend of mine that was kind of in a similar slumpy scenario, just like, hey, I know it's easier said than done, but if you can make something, it will make you feel so much better about this whole, crazy industry that we're in. It'll give you some feeling of control. And like you're not beholden to other people's opinion. You'll have made something yourself. And, and a feature seemed like the natural progression of that to like, all right, well, let's go even deeper with this. And now, like my full-time job is pretty much just running the theatrical for this. And like, I have acting jobs in between, but those almost seem like, not to say they are, but like they almost seem bothered, like on an
they're in the way.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm just like, no, but I got all these screenings. I can't go do a day on this thing.
Well, that's the next question that I have for you as we start to wrap up here is, because that's the next journey, right? Is this sort of journey of distribution. Now that you've made the film, I think people, independent film especially, you have to figure out a way to get it picked up or get it out there in the world. So this sort of screening tour that you're doing, and you can go to the website, samueldunning.com, and he has there's a whole link to it there with all the screenings that are around that are going on. You've had a bunch of screenings already, and I'm so excited that you're bringing it to Juneau. But is that the next hurdle, is figuring out, okay, I've made the film, now how do I get people to see the film?
Yes, 100%. And and the thing is that, speaking of things in this industry that suck, indie film and indie film distribution also sucks these days. No one gets, you pretty much, you don't get, your film doesn't get bought anymore. And making money is a rarity. So really my goal very quickly became, all right, if those are like hitting the lotto off the table, then my goal is just to make sure that this movie does not disappear. Because that's what happens to many things, including a lot of things that I've been in that other people directed, where they handed it off to a distributor who didn't really, have the passion that they did. And so they just kind of let the things slip through the cracks. And so we got a few distribution offers, but they just weren't up to snuff. And I realized quickly, I was like, well, why don't we grow our own fan base and make our own fans? I bet you we can find our audience ourselves. And so that's where running this theatrical tour ourselves came out of, is that I was like, you know what? One of two things will happen. Either one, we will grow this fan base to the degree where a distributor will notice what we're up to and say, hey, what's going on? It looks like you actually have people that are interested. Or, excuse me, if nothing else, we will then have this backlog of screenings and sellouts and just reviews from folks that love the movie on Letterboxd or IMDb. We'll be able to bring that to a distributor and say, like, as you can see here from Exhibit A, we have people that like this. Would you like to pick this up and put it on streaming? So
because that's the next step, right? Is to get it on the streaming services at some point after you've had a little bit of audience and
and that'll happen at some point. Everybody keeps asking after every streaming or every screening. They're just like, when is it streaming so I can show my friends? And I'm like, I don't know yet. It will happen inevitably, but the whole point of this right now is to just grow word of mouth, get fans, and then, by the time we are streaming, it'll have a whole lot of more people behind it.
Well, we're happy to have you come into Juneau. It's going to be awesome to have you here at the Gold Town on August 4th. Canoe Dig It is the film. And you'll be here, Sam. You'll be here for a Q&A.
I will be, yes,
yeah,
with one
so
of my producers and my lovely mother, who is also in the film. She'll be there too.
Oh, awesome! That's good. That's the great thing about making your own film. You can put whoever you want in it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and where can people find out more about it? What's the best place to go to get more information on the film?
So I either tell people just Google Canoe Dig It, because pretty much nothing else will come up, or through Googling it, that'll either bring you to our link tree, which has links to tickets, the trailer, interviews like this, other information, or you can go to my website, which is samuelfddunning.com, and then there's a drop-down bar with projects, and Canoe Dig It's in there. It's a little bit. I went on the cheap and I didn't get the domain for Canoe Dig It, so sue me. Just Google it.
just put it in your favorite search engine. Yeah, it's a very unique name.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's Canoe Dig It coming. It's paddling your way soon, not coming soon. Paddling your way soon. I love that. Sam, thanks for joining us on Juneau Afternoon today. Best of luck with the film and all future endeavors. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure.
This is Juneau Afternoon on KTOO. Support for Juneau Afternoon comes from Tongass Federal Credit Union, a member-owned financial cooperative offering checking and savings accounts, loans, and digital financial services. In Juneau at 8585 Old Dairy Road in the K Plaza and at tongassfcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
I'm Dr. Anthony Lazarowitz, and this is Climate Connections. In Atlanta, an overgrown and neglected railroad corridor is becoming a shady walking and biking path. When complete, the Atlanta Beltline will form a 22-mile loop around the city, linking parks, affordable housing, art, businesses, and public transit. And hundreds of different types of plants and trees will surround the path, forming the world's longest linear arboretum.
And it's a way that people can get through 45 neighborhoods, either by bike or by foot, that is going to be completely shaded.
Greg Levine is executive director of the nonprofit Trees Atlanta, which manages the arboretum. He says the design incorporates both old-growth trees and new tree plantings. As climate change causes more extreme weather, these trees will help keep the city cool on hot days, and they'll filter stormwater when it rains. They'll also create habitat for wildlife.
In the evenings, you can hear insects. If you get there early in the morning, there's birds flying all around.
More than half of the arboretum has already been built, and signs, artwork, and docent-led tours on the path teach people about the trees and the ecosystem as they enjoy the winding oasis of greenery. Climate Connections is produced by the Yale Center for Environmental Communication. To learn more about climate change, visit climateconnections.org.
This is Juneau Afternoon from your listener-supported public media station KTOO. I'm your host, Boston Christopher. Sarah Aronson was born and raised in the Mendenhall Valley. She is a climate-aware therapist and Alaska Regional Coordinator for the Climate Psychology Alliance in North America. She is also host of the podcast Grounding, Conversations on Mental Health and Mother Earth from Montana Public Radio. And I am pleased to welcome Sarah to the studio now. How are you today?
Great, Boston. It's great to be here.
So it's such a fascinating thing. You met one of our reporters recently, Alex Solomon. She told me, she was like, there's a climate psychologist, climate psychotherapist. And I was like, that's a thing? Like, what is that? So let's start there in terms of what is a climate-aware therapist?
Great. Essentially, a field began emerging in the last 20 years where folks like me are trained to understand the complexity and nuance of how our climate impacts our psychology and vice versa, right? We are humans who have now impacted the ecosystem that we live in. And so what we're seeing is more and more folks, especially young folks, are reporting increased distress, anxiety, depression related to the fact that we are living in a human-impacted climate. More extremes, more disasters, things like that.
Wow. Okay. And so you, I know you got your degree many years ago, 20 years ago or so.
Right.
You went back to school though to get a creative writing.
Why not?
A master's degree.
Right.
You wrote some poetry and you released a book or two, and so that's kind of cool. But you've always been doing this work as a therapist, and then you started working. I love this idea that you have a podcast.
Yeah.
Are you still able to do that podcast now that you've returned to Juneau?
Great question. We did 2 seasons, and there's a little bit of a question like, is there going to be a Juneau-based episode or season? TBD. The GLOF is certainly intriguing in terms of, I'm really here in some ways to witness and study what is the psychological impact on the Mendenhall Valley and the community of Juneau of this now annual, climate disaster. Yeah.
So have you moved back for a while or?
Oh, it's indefinite now.
Indefinite?
Yeah. And I'll say that the glacier was my primary motivation, Boston. Like I've been in a long-term relationship with the glacier, since infancy. As most people who are raised in the valley, it's like your daily life is mediated by this body of ice, and it's changed plenty. But when the GLOF events started happening, the shift was instead of grieving the retreating ice, it's now trying to grapple with what does it mean that now there are these annual events. And threatening homes and livelihoods
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about it. My partner and she and I were buying a house last fall, and we're thinking about all those people who are in the valley, and it's like, oh, if we buy a house out here, is there this like constant pressure?
Yes.
That even though it's only once a year and it's in the summer, but the whole time, is it just going to be part of, I guess, anxiety, right?
Right. It's like built into that. Yeah.
And so what is it that you do as a therapist to sort of help people through that?
Right. So let me locate us in terms of the majority of my experiences with wildfires, smoke, and intense heat spells coming from the lower 48s. And so, part of what we see is often, like in those events, people are irritable, they're losing sleep, their relationships are strained, they sort of can't get a breath of fresh air, so to speak.
Right.
And so here, what I'm tracking here is like, what is the level of grief or disenfranchised grief that we're not able to talk about because we are just focused on solutions? What about the sense of disillusionment? After these disasters, there's an arc in which we kind of go through a honeymoon phase of the impact has happened, but there's community cohesion and there's heroic, acts, and we feel okay about it. And then we realize, oh, we have to reckon with the damage and the new realities. And so how does a community keep going through those cycles? And process the grief and fear and anger and disillusionment and all the the sadness too of what it means to live with this feature.
And I'm imagining, like, we've had over the last number of weeks, we've had many people on to talk about the upcoming season of GLOF, as it were. We've had on the scientists, we've had on the city folks, we've had on various different people to talk about this. And as you were speaking just now, I started to think, oh yeah, not just the people that live there, but the people who are trying to help solve this issue also probably have some anxiety or grief or whatever that is that they're dealing with to sort of get through this, because because they're getting looked at like, what's the answer? Tell us the answer. Are you going to fix
immense
this?
Pressure, right?
Yeah, the pressure.
Right. And so what I noticed at the panel event in June was like, we're here to listen to scientists and the Army Corps and the city, and what we're not talking about is like, how's everybody doing? But the tenor of the room was just increasing frustration and fear and, again, disillusionment. And, folks on View Drive, for instance, wondering, like, are we cared about? Is there a sense of community sort of wraparound and care? And that's what we're not talking about. Or there's not really space because we need to just, at this point, survive the event. and come up with midterm and long-term solutions. But I'm here to, in part, listen to and begin a conversation around how's everybody doing? What do we need? Who's losing sleep? How are the kids? What is it like for the middle schoolers who look at the HESCO berries every day? That they have to process constant vulnerability and danger.
Wow.
And I think that's actually a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot. And so when did you make the decision to come back to Juneau?
I've been working on it for a long time. Boston, I came back in 2024 for an artist residency. But I was, again, I was trying to figure out what is my obligation to the glacier. If I consider it a relative, I'm sort of hospicing it. I want to be here. When it pulled out of the lake in November, I had a real guttural feeling. Did you?
Yeah.
What was yours?
It was just sort of because it's always been there.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I grew up in Anchorage, and we have our other glaciers up there that have also retreated and stuff. And you think, wow, how's that even something that's been there for so long to change that much? And what's next? That's where you get to the next level of what's next? And what is that going to mean for the ecosystem?
Right. So often when we think and talk about climate emotions, we get hung up on the fear and the sadness and the anger. But I like to orient towards sort of, the positivity and the love and the care. And so when I really sat down, Boston, and did an inventory of my values, it was like, the only option is go home. Is go be with the glacier. That's what you would do with a loved one who was dying, right?
Right.
You would go be with them.
Yeah.
And so,
or bring them to you, but you can't do that in this situation.
Yeah, right. I mean, I wish. I tried to go to Glacier National Park as much as I could, but it's not the same.
Not the same.
So that was the driving force. Really, it was just instinctual. Of course, this is the answer. But now there's this dual pressure of how do I say goodbye to one thing, and also be with a community in fear. And grappling with this, it's really, I don't want to underestimate how challenging this is. It's really challenging for our minds. The human brain wasn't meant to contemplate its own extinction. We get overwhelmed and overheated by that idea. So this is big stuff, and it's the first in our nation that we're having to deal with glacial lake outburst floods.
So I'm thinking about you're going to witness this event, which is scheduled in a couple weeks. It seems like the 5th to the 10th is when the basin's going to fill. At some point after it fills, it will release. Yeah. And, they've made some changes this year in terms of the evacuation zone. We were talking to some folks the other day about that from the city. There's all kinds of, things you can prepare and to do, and safety, and get all that stuff ready to go and be part of that. But then after, you're going to witness that this time around.
Yep.
And then after that, what is your plan after that in terms of what's your next steps for you?
Great question, Boston. I still feel like I'm putting roots down, but I'm in touch with, of course, the Juneau Flood Solution advocates and the city. And my hope is to get some community conversations going. In my field, we offer things, maybe you've heard of death cafes, where people can come and in a non-judgmental way talk about death and dying. Climate cafes are essentially like a place where we don't talk politics, we don't talk solutions, we just talk, how are you doing?
Impacts
we
to
talk,
you.
Yes,
yeah.
We talk stories. So those are things I can imagine, but I know that there are already planned gatherings and storytelling, sort of informal events, but mostly my job is to observe and bear witness and offer where I can. And again, I just want to promote for kids during this event. What will be really helpful is for the adults to have clear, calm communication. The water's nearby. We're going to go over here, and I'm going to help you, and we're going to stay together. And also for kids, I would also say during the event and after is kids' nervous systems really respond to things like jumping, digging, swinging, running. So that's why playgrounds are really helpful. So I intend to make myself useful in these kinds of ways, Boston.
Okay. And then if I were to, if you had a piece of advice before I was to maybe have somebody to talk to like yourself, if I am a parent, if I am an individual, if I own a home or if I don't own a home, anything, what can I do? Is there something I can do each day, like centered breathing or something, or where do I go?
Right. Obviously, things most of us know about, like movement, breathing, tuning into your five senses, right? Sort of changing where your attention is. One of the things I really like to promote is often when we're in crisis, we think everything is all bad, right? Like our entire bodies or all of our thoughts are negative. But actually, if you tune in, it's like my hair is neutral right now, you know, like my big toe or my eyebrow. So I imagine, because this is such an sort of targeted event, is like, go to North Douglas if you can. Go to Ockrek. You know, go to Eagle Beach. There are places where this crisis doesn't feel as imminent. You know, so whether it's locationally, like just get some proximal distance. Remind yourself that actually things are neutral at Sandy Beach, or different things are happening there. In the same way that you could tune into your body and say, oh, yeah, my ear, like there's no tension or distress in my ear right now.
That's really nice. You're making me more comfortable. I like it. Yeah. So where are you? I noticed just in terms of trying to find you online and stuff, that looks like you're set up down at the Goldstein building. You have an office down there. People can reach out to you, right? And I think it's listed on Psychology Today. You're listed in there.
Yeah, that's primarily.
If you search her name, Sarah B. Aronson, you're going to find her website, which is all about poetry, which is also awesome. Yeah. Are you continuing to write as well?
Yeah, well, you know, Boston, I've been working on a book in relation to the glacier for 10 years.
Oh,
but
wow.
Gosh, the content has changed. And so I'm trying to write my way through what it means to witness a terrifying and also sublime event. Like, if you saw, you know, the aftermath of the Gloff last year, it's like, it's pretty amazing to watch the silt cover the understory. You know, it's ghostly back there. So I'm working with, other kinds of images and writing now.
That's so cool. That's going to be really awesome to follow. And you also... I wanted to say, like, I think people should go and listen to the podcast that you did. You can just search it, Grounding, Montana Public Radio. There's, like she said, 2 seasons of stuff on there. A lot of different topics, a lot of different guests that you had on. You also did The Right Question, which is where you were interviewing authors, right?
Yeah, and I did one here with Bjorn Dila.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm old.
You're connected.
Yeah, I'm connected to this place.
You're here for sure. Well, welcome back to Juneau.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I'm also curious, like, I want to just go back for 1 second to clear this up, because you were talking about the climate-aware therapy has become sort of a newer field, but you've witnessed that over the 20 years that you've had a degree and everything, right?
Right.
So, like,
right.
What was the first sort of impetus to sort of you changing your tact as a therapist to get into that?
I'm glad you asked, because all of us have a climate story, right? So for me, mine predates my career. 1989, the Exxon Valdez oil spill, right?
Oh, sure.
Hugely impactful.
Yeah.
2017, there was a wildfire in Seeley Lake, Montana, which broke the air quality monitors, which caused illness in the school children, you know, for the whole school year afterwards. The smoke was literally in my consulting room, meaning we couldn't get away from the threat. And that's when people really were coming in saying, I don't feel right. You know, I'm not sleeping well, I'm irritated, I'm having a lot of conflict. And now we know that wildfire smoke impacts our cognition greatly, you know, and our emotional regulation. So that was the event. 2017, it was like, oh, I need to become more skilled at this, because this is beyond just normal depression, anxiety, trauma, grief.
Right.
This is something that we don't yet have sort of the knowledge base and skills to.
But it is interesting, right? Because, like, the awareness of, like, before, when you say, oh, yeah, most of the time, you know, in the past, it's like, well, we need to find a solution, we need to fix this.
Yeah.
But we didn't think about, you know, what is going on with our mind, body, spirit. Like,
that's right.
But it seems like that sort of element of life has become more apparent, and so it seems like it's now applying to other areas like climate change and
totally.
And you're also going to be talking and looking at other things besides Gloff around Southeast, all the different.
Well,
things
there's landslides.
Yeah.
I mean, just the sno event from this winter.
The snow event
right?
was huge.
It's like,
what a
who
mental,
wasn't right?
Yeah.
What did it do to you?
Oh, well, I had just bought a house. So, you know, and this piling up of the snow, the roof, and I'm like, oh my God, do we get the roof shut? Our neighbors aren't doing it. We've never bought a house before. Our neighbors aren't doing it yet, but then they started doing it, and then the pressure of that, and like, oh my God, is our insurance, just the pressure.
All of it,
the
pressure.
Yeah. And so but being able to sort of take a step back and relax and be like, okay, it's not happening. Yeah. We're okay, and it won't be the end of the world, but it is just so, just taking a moment, right, and breathing and just kind of trying to think about it in a lighter way, I guess.
Yeah. And I would say like the framework that's great to work with is we have to understand it intellectually first. Then we grapple with the emotional. Then we adapt. And then we reinvest.
I see. Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
so then now you can be like, okay, we made it through that
now
season.
I know how much snow we can handle.
There and where
right?
What kind of instruments do you need to buy next year?
Right. What do we need?
Yeah.
What kind of shovels? What kind of stuff do we need to do? So how do people get a hold of you these days? What's the best way?
Yeah, I mean, Psychology Today is the best place to track me down. Again, I hope to sort of make like a groundwater kind of appearance here, just slow and steady. Online, and you can email me at sarahbaronson@gmail.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. Maybe we could have you back on.
I would love it.
After the event, when we come back from our hiatus, we can check in, we can see what's going on, and get the tenor of what's happening out there.
That sounds great. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Sarah. Gunachish. We're going to take a listen to this new song by the Heists called Breakin' Men. It dropped on Tuesday, and I want to play it here on the show as we go to break. Gunachish for being here. Thank you so much. This is the Heists.
First time Mickey saw the sea, he was just 18. He was so naive and he'd signed himself up for the U.S. Navy. He knew right away his mistake, but he was raised to honor when you shake, and he wanted to be a man who'd served his country. Have you ever seen the sea rolling out of sight? Have you ever seen the sea reflect the stars at night? She's wide and deep and uncaring, not an enemy or a friend. She'll take all that you give her. She'll break. She'll Kentucky boy saying off to war. He saw so much more than he bargained for, and he did what he was told for a few dark years. And he got back home and he tried to find that simple life that was calm and quiet, but you can't just give away unwanted souvenirs. Have you ever seen the sea rolling out of sight? Have you ever seen the sea reflect the stars at night? She's wide and deep and uncaring, not an enemy or a friend. She'll take all that you give her. She'll break and she'll mend. Trying to understand the life he's led. The space between good and bad is so deep and vast. It seems no matter how far he's come, some things in life can never be undone. Old memories may fade, but you can't erase the past. Have you ever seen the sea rolling out of sight? Have you watching the sea reflect the stars at night. She's wide and deep and uncaring, not an enemy or a friend. She'll take all that you give her. She'll break and she'll mend. She'll take all that you give her. She'll break and she'll mend.
Hanson Gress, ka eat with the shuyi, we kashuk ayitin. Jin kat ka ke jin tak anakaya ha anikak, gunil cheesh.
Support comes from Nugget Alaskan Outfitter with outdoor clothing, gear, and footwear for the whole family, now carrying On running shoes and Gooder running sunglasses. Located in the Mendenhall Mall and online at nuggetoutfitter.com.
You are listening to Juneau Afternoon from Studio 2K at KTOO, and the studio is dedicated to Carolyn Hobbs Peterson. I'm your host, Boston Christopher. I'm joined in the studio now by Lauren Varelli, Deputy Director with CBJ Parks and Rec, and we are going to be talking month of play and more. Welcome in, Wasiti. How are you today, Lauren?
I'm good. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Yes, vacation for me after this segment.
That's so exciting. I'm excited for you.
So fun. It's awesome. But in what I could do with some of my time off is I could do month of play activities, which is already going. It started, a couple weeks ago?
It did. Yep, a couple weeks. We're halfway through.
Halfway through. So we still have a lot of time to get involved with some of these activities. Now, is this a thing that I sign up for or that I buy a pass for? Or is this just you guys are saying, hey, here's a month of stuff to do?
Yep. Yeah, it's all free. It's a way for us to thank the community for participating in Parks and Rec, all things.
Awesome.
And so we have our free swim at Diamond Park Aquatic Center. We have 2 sessions tomorrow. Saturday. Yeah, okay. The 25th. And it's shifted a little bit from the past few years that this is a dedicated session. So people might remember it pre-pandemic when we had a dedicated day with 2 sessions. So we're going back to that to see how it goes. So we have tomorrow, the first session is from 12:30 to 2, and the second session is 2:30 to 4.
And is this any age?
Yep, any age, free open swim at the Valley Pool. We'll start wristbanding 30 minutes before the doors open. So, historically, there'd be long lines, so definitely don't arrive.
That's what I was going to say. Is there a lot of people that show? I mean, I'm sure on a Saturday, people want to get the kids in there, have a little bit of fun in the water.
And the capacity is 150 people. So.
Oh, so it gets full.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so get there early to get your wristband.
Yes, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, and that's tomorrow, 12:30 to 2, and then 2:30 to 4.
Yes, correct.
Okay, great. Yeah.
And then the next free event is, which we're really excited about, is the ice is going into Treadwell right now. They are working on building it. And to kick off the 2026-2027 season, we'll have a free skate next Friday, July 31st. So
they put the ice in this early.
It takes us a couple weeks to install the ice.
Wow.
So we're about halfway through the install. And it takes them, they walk I think it's at least 5 miles backwards, spraying this light, it's like the water really thinly, and they have to go around and around and around in circles. So it's a feat.
Because I don't even think that's one of those things that you never think about. Like, how do they actually get the ice in the arena? It's always just there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, whenever you're there,
you might see the Zamboni or whatever, but you don't think about how did it begin?
Yeah, it's a very long process.
Oh, that's so cool, and that's done all by CBJ Parks and Rec folks?
Yeah, our Treadwell staff.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Okay, and so that's going to be celebrated with the free skate next Friday night.
2 free skates. So we'll have so we'll have a family skate, and that will be from 5 to 6:30, and then we'll have a disco skate from 7 to 8:30.
Oh, those are a blast.
Yeah. So there's going to be the family skate. The capacity is 75, and that's for those that are less experience and stuff, and with the little kids and stuff. And then we'll on the disco skate, I turn down the lights a little bit, and the disco lights are going.
The ball is going.
Yeah,
and all
the
that
ball's
kind of
going,
stuff.
and it's
and the skates are also no charge, but they're first come first serve,
yes,
right? Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's like, get there, and obviously some people bring their own skates as well,
right,
so you can do that, and sometimes you just have to wait, and then we'll switch it through.
So I'm curious, Lauren, are you in charge of the playlist for the disco skate, and what's your song?
I am not, and I should ask to see what our playlist is going to be.
Like, is it disco songs?
I think it's a variety, honestly.
Okay. I think it would be fun to know what that playlist is.
Yeah.
And you could market that 70s. As like download the playlist ahead of time so you know how to make your moves, get your moves. Because do people like skate backwards and stuff?
Oh, yeah. There's there's the newer skaters, and then there's the people that are really skilled and stuff.
Yeah, I can't do any of that, but that's really fun. All right, and then the next day on August 1st, you're going to be showing Zootopia 2.
Yeah, we're very excited.
Can I tell you, one of the funniest... There's only been a few times in the theater where I have laughed longer than I should have.
Yeah.
Right? And there's many of them. Obviously, When Harry Met Sally is one of them, the big moment in that movie.
Yeah.
I laughed. I was with my mother at the time, and we both laughed inordinately amount of time. Made other people uncomfortable how loud we were laughing. But anyway, the other one for me is in the first Zootopia when the sloth at the DMV or whatever it is, like that moment.
It was so good.
Of just like I was really overwhelmed by that moment.
It's so good.
I haven't seen Zootopia 2, but good. I hear the sloth does make a reappearance.
Yes, it does.
So I need to go next Saturday.
Yes, next Saturday we'll have 2 showings. So we'll have our traditional showing at 1:00. And then a sensory-friendly showing starting at 4.
And what does that mean, sensory-friendly?
Yeah, so sensory-friendly is we leave some of the lights on, so it's not like with the traditional showing, turn off all the lights, it's pitch black, and you kind of need to stay in your spot. And then with the sensory, we leave the lights underneath the track on, and then we kind of lower the volume a little bit, and then we have the subtitles on.
Okay.
And they're able to, guests are able to move about and whatnot. The doors will open 15 minutes before each showtime. People should bring their, blankets and sleeping bags and chairs, and just, get comfy on the turf in front of the big screen. So the only thing is no food or drinks except water is allowed on the turf. So.
Oh, okay. So you don't want to bring any food in there. Yeah, yes, that's nice.
It's not fun to clean up.
No, definitely not. And those are going to be 1:00 and then 4:00, and that's Saturday, August 1st.
Yes.
So it's a week from this Saturday.
Yeah, and
of course, everything we're talking about is on the CBJ website. Yep. There's even a bit.ly link that you have, bit.ly/month of play, and play is all caps.
Yep.
Because for some reason, those bit.ly links want to be they're cap sensitive.
They are.
So month of is lowercase, and then play is all caps, month of play. And so bit.ly/month of play, or go to CBJ Parks and Rec, and you'll find the month of play website, and it has all the details of everything going on.
Yep, and that will be the last in-person event. But we have Story Path is up this weekend. We have the new book going to be installed Monday morning, and then we have Goose Chase, which is another DIY part of the month of activities, is ongoing through, I believe, August 1st. And then we'll do our drawing on August 5th. So
what's the drawing?
So all these events and the activities you complete, you get tickets into the drawing. So we give away like a free sheet of ice at the rink. We do party rentals at the field house, youth sports registrations, and just all sorts of different parks and recreation.
And that's not a raffle ticket or anything. It's just
you just put your name into the drawing whenever you attend any of these. You can get multiple tickets into all of it.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and everything's free, so it's a fun way to just play all month long.
I love that. It's a great time. The weather's been pretty good, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been pretty good.
It's kind of nice to have rain yesterday.
Yeah.
And then we're having a nice weekend, hopefully.
And then, of course, before I let you go, we want to mention that volleyball is happening. Registration starts on Monday, so tell me a little bit about that.
Our men's and women's volleyball league, that starts July 27th, Monday, and it runs through August 6th, which is a Thursday, and that's just the regular registration. So start thinking about putting together your teams. You need at least 6 players for a roster to form a team, and then we have one day for late registration, which is Friday, August 7th, and that will close at 4:30 sharp, and there will be a late fee associated with that. But yeah, we're excited to get folks back out on the court. It starts the league starts right around, beginning of August. League play, practice, and then league starts.
So you have a week or so to register?
You have 2 weeks.
2
to get
weeks
registered.
to register. Okay.
And then we classify all the teams and build up the schedule and have everything out by the end of August, because practice starts the last week, and then league play starts.
And how long does the league last?
It's September through October.
Okay.
And then the tournament is the first week of November.
I see. All right on.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that is everything right now going on with CBJ Parks and Rec. Obviously, there's more for Month of Play. There's all kinds. You guys do everything.
There's a lot going on.
There's so much going on over there. Just go to their website, put it in your favorite search engine, the CBJ Parks and Rec. But you guys also have a short website too now, don't you?
A short?
Don't you have cbjparks.org or something? Do you have that?
Not us yet.
Not you, because I know there's CBJ Pools.
There's Juneau Pools, treadwellarena.org,
right,
all those, but not the main Parks and Recreation
Yeah,
website.
It's nice that everybody's getting on board, though, because those long, government links are just terrible. Because nobody can remember them.
I know. Oh, one other thing I want to add is that the elevator's now open at the field house. So if anyone goes by there, we have an elevator now.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
That's awesome. Lauren Varelli, thank you so much, Good Cheese, for being here. I really appreciate it.
Enjoy your trip.
Thank you so much. My staycation. Yeah, this is Juneau Afternoon on KTOO. We're going to go out with a little bit of Ashley Young and her song Secrets here on Juneau Afternoon.
If you think I like you, I do. Nothing that I've tried can untangle me from you. Drive me so wild. Eyes glued to your smile now. It's been so long that you're catching on. Oh, maybe we should take some space. I like you more than I should say. I gotta be careful when I speak. I've got so many secrets to keep. I don't know how long I can hide. I've had us on the mind. Now you're here, right where I imagined you. Do we have to wait? What if we never see that day? I gotta be careful when I speak. I've got so many secrets to keep. Babe, I'm afraid. What if we wait too long? Take too much space and move on. I'll show you love's not a cage. Don't you wonder what we make? So baby, do we have to wait? What if we never see that day? I gotta be careful when I speak. I've got so many secrets to keep. Oh, 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 oh.
that's going to do it for this week's Juneau Afternoon. Reminder, we'll be on hiatus for the next few weeks. Live shows return Wednesday, August 19th. Gwyneth Chief for your support and enjoy a beautiful summer. Find the show online at kto.org/Juneau Afternoon. I'm Boston Christopher, producer and host of the program with help today from Aaron Tripp.